Oh shit. No!
Okay, hello and welcome to the second episode of PFT Talk. Now, as you can probably see, I am lagging a bit. I think it's just a software problem with XSplit, but the audio should be okay. And I do apologize for any lag at the moment. We seem to have some problems in the
I
last
think the
stream.
I think the bigger problem is that I'm like
Yeah,
pale.
I I have the better quality camera, but you have the smooth frame rate. So
Hmm. You win some, you lose some, I guess. Anyway, what's uh what's the first topic on the list?
topics on today's social, we have some things from Apple, Nikon, OnePlus, and more. So I think we're going to start off. Well, first of all, this has been a slow news week, so there really isn't as much to talk about, and I wouldn't
Yeah,
expect that this will be as long a show as last time.
yeah, it's not really our fault to be honest.
So yeah, OnePlus One has finally moved over to their own version of Android. So when OnePlus released the OnePlus One, which was supposed to be their kind of smartphone giant killer that was going to stop people from buying phones from Samsung and HTC, it came with Cyanogen, which was an extremely popular kind of custom ROM for Android smartphones. Since then, they've had a bit of a breakup with Cyanogen. They don't really work together anymore, and they have finally launched their own OS. Um, Basically, it's very close to stock Android, which is nice to see. It is essentially just an Android skin, um, but this to me makes the OnePlus One even more appealing, even though it is still very hard to get your hands on. But this is certainly one of my favorite Android phones, I would say. Uh,
I I do well I don't really know where I'm stand with the One, to be honest. Like I've never really felt the kind of desire to actually own one and go and mess about with one. Like I know that they're thin and they're kind of offer the same kind of specs as Nexus does in many things, but I don't know. I guess it kind of just lacks that desirability. I don't know. I haven't seen that many pictures or reviews of Oxygen OS, so obviously I can't really speak about that. But um, from what I have seen, so obviously from the limited kind of view that I've had of it, it seems fairly decent. It's kind of got quite a good design to it, and
yeah,
obviously, as you said, it's a skin on top of Android. So obviously, I've never been kind of a fan of skins on top of Android. I've really always enjoyed the pure Android experience, but I guess I'd be willing to give it a try if I was able to get my hands on it.
so yeah, not really too big news there, I would say, but it's nice to see OnePlus kind of finally moving on after their breakup with Cyanogen. So next up we have the Nikon J5. Now usually these small micro four thirds cameras, especially from Nikon, wouldn't really excite me, but this had one feature that I was really interested in, and that was 4K video. Now granted, this isn't exactly usable 4K, it only shoots at 15 frames per second, but this is Nikon's first attempt at 4K, and I'm really happy because personally I'm a fan of Nikon's cameras. I know Canon is generally better for video, but I like the way Nikon does things, and if they can start bringing 4K over to their DSLR cameras, I think that will be a brilliant move, and it will push forward the kind of 4K movement, making it a lot easier for people to afford. This camera isn't too cheap. I believe it's around the $300, $400 range, which for what it is, generally Nikon's mirrorless cameras aren't too popular. Though of course this 4K feature and the new sensor may kind of bump it up in popularity, but we'll have to really see. I was just really excited to see Nikon adding 4K to their lineup, and it's nice to see them trying that higher resolution, I guess. Um,
I don't. I To be honest, I don't really follow cameras that much, so obviously I don't have that much to say on them. In terms of what you've just said, 4K video does sound really exciting to finally see. Um, Kind of sensors becoming available that offer 4K, so that finally we might have a chance to capitalize on 4K screens and 4K TVs, kind of finally show off content that we created ourselves to be shown off on something that was designed specifically for 4K. If you are from kind of the experience that I've had with kind of new bits of tech coming to the market. What I would suggest is that you don't buy it straight away. Like Mark said, $400 is a bit steep for a camera, even if it is kind of like a small DSLR kind of thing. Just wait till it drops in price, or just go for the second generation, because from my experience, buying products straight as they come out isn't a good idea. Believe me, I've got an LG Optimus 2X, which I bought as soon as it came out, and it was surpassed by other phones within, what, 3 months, and it's now a dead weight. So obviously, as I say, wait a bit till it's kind of gain more popularity, and then maybe buy one.
Yeah. Nice to see them trying it, but
Yeah, I guess kudos for attempting it, but obviously,
I
if you're
won't
going to
go out
buy,
and buy this.
wait.
So yeah, next up we've seen some leaked images of an HTC One M9 Plus. Of course, we just saw the regular HTC One M9, and it would make sense that they would go for the larger phablet phone, similar we've seen from companies like Samsung and Apple, who have launched larger versions of their flagship phone. But the interesting bit about this was just last week we saw images that had actually been uploaded on HTC's website of the HTC E9, and the whole thing about the E9 was the fact that it was a larger phone. So it will be very interesting to see what the difference between the E9 and the M9 Plus is. Now, from what I believe, I think the E9 is supposed to be the almost more premium phone. It's aimed for kind of businesses and will be very large on the Chinese market. We probably won't see it too much in America and here in the UK. But it would be kind of odd to have two devices that are so similar in that same kind of target area. So it'll be very interesting to see what HTC decide to do here.
I guess it's kind of weird, as you say, but what bothers me about this is the fact that what makes a phone a business phone, essentially. Like, what would differentiate like a standard M9 from a business M9? Like, I can understand they're going to make it bigger, something like the iPhone 6 Plus, and so on and so forth. Um, but what features actually make it a business phone? Because there isn't that many actual hardware things that you could put in.
I guess it would you take away the gimmicky features. So, for example, on I don't know, some of the features, like how the old one had the dual cameras, so you could change focus after. It wouldn't need that, and they would add things like a dual SIM card slots.
I think
Um,
dual SIM card would be really useful. I don't know,
yeah,
better battery life.
different
I don't know.
design, I guess, but yeah,
I, th- I think
it's interesting.
I think most things would be more software based than anything else.
Hmm.
Like, you'd have more secure email and VP, like more security surrounding virtual networks and so on and so forth. Kind of more to do with data processing rather than the hardware itself. Now,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned about the E9, I think HTC has realized that they need to target the Chinese kind of market separately, because China kind of has its own requirements, and they need to adjust appropriately.
Yeah. So the next thing on my list is we have seen some cases leaked of the iPhone 6C. Now, we saw this last year before the launch of the 5C. They started popping up on Amazon, basically the outer shell of the phone, which I guess gives you a bit of a look at the size to expect, and it does look very, very similar to the previous iPhone 5C, but the 6C case had things like the same flash as we see in the iPhone 6. I believe it had slightly different speaker cutouts and things like that. So we actually spoke about the 6C in last week's live stream, but essentially it's going to be a smaller version of the 6. It's going to be cheaper. It will replace the 6 on the product line and will be released most likely at WWDC. But basically these leaks just kind of give us a bit more evidence that this device will be released. Personally, I'm extremely happy. I think this is definitely the road Apple needs to go down. The kind of cheaper, smaller phones does does appeal to a lot of the market and should sell a lot like the iPhone 5C did.
I don't know. Like I said last week, I still think that the plastic look to me doesn't really kind of scream value and quality to me. You
Yeah,
know, the way the 5C looked, it looked very odd to me. Knowing that it was an iPhone. Whenever I think of an iPhone, I think of either a glass back of the 4S, or the metallic finish that we have been accustomed to for the past 2 or 3 years. So I'm not entirely happy about the 6 being replaced by the 6C,
yeah.
but you can't really do anything about it. Obviously, I still have high hopes for the fact that the iPhone might be returning in a 4-inch format, which to me again would be a killer feature.
So, of course, this week is the week of the Apple Watch, or possibly not the week of the Apple Watch, but there's been some new news surrounding it, and of course, pre-orders start this Friday. I believe it's 8 p.m. in the UK, and we will be doing our best to get hands-on as soon as possible for you guys. So, one of the big pieces of news that came out about the Apple Watch is the fact that this will not be available in Switzerland, I believe, until around December due to some copyright laws. This seems a bit odd from Apple because usually Apple, being the huge company that they are, would have sorted all these things out. I doubt it's going to be a huge chunk of their market share that they're losing, but I guess if you live there, this is going to be a bit of an annoyance for you.
I don't know. I kind of see it as a funnier kind of thing for more than for what it is. It's the fact that was it back in 1986, somebody put in like a patent thing, and they said that Apple cannot release a watch in Switzerland with the Apple moniker attached to it. Now the patent expires on the December 5th this year, so obviously Apple have the option of either buying the patent and then releasing the watch, sometime sooner, or alternatively just ride the storm and just wait out till I don't know December 6th and then release it then. But what I like about this story is the fact that actually somebody had the vision to say, well, they might grow, they might release a watch someday, and Switzerland being kind of the capital of watchmaking for the whole damn world,
Yeah.
it's going to be a stronghold for kind of traditional watches, and it's really too funny. It's really funny seeing them defend themselves in such a way, but give it time and Apple will take over again, I guess.
So those were all the stories I had written down. I don't know if you had any.
No, that's about it. Really, really slow news week, to be honest.
Yeah. So we apologise for the shorter show, but there really was nothing we could do. Again, I apologise for the technical issues. I realise my webcam has probably been lagging throughout this, but hopefully the audio is fine and you kind of get the point across. So I really hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, give it a like, share, and if you're watching this on YouTube, why not check the link down in the description and head over to our Twitch channel. So this will hopefully return again next week, providing we can get the stream up. So stay tuned for that. We will let you know when it comes out over on Facebook and Twitter. So that's about it. I don't know if you want to say anything before we leave.
Goodbye, people.
So thank you very much for watching, and we will end the stream now.